Now today on Eye on Eves, we had to pay attention to the #1 tennis player in the world who came out making a strong statement. Aryna Sabalenka lashed out to show her utter disappointment at the manner in which the Women's Tennis Association was conducting the WTA Finals event in Mexico. Across the world, a similar careless approach to the organization of another women's global event ends in an embarrassing disaster, throwing sharp focus on the lack of efficiency when it comes to hosting women sporting events.
Imagine you're an elite-level sports person. You travel to a different country to compete at the highest of levels. But once you get there, you see that the grounds are unkempt and the organizers don't care about the sport at all. That's the kind of treatment the world's #1 ranked women's tennis player Aryna Sabalenka got. During the World Tennis Association or WTA Finals in Mexico, Sabalenka got a rude awakening. She was shocked to see the hastily built court that she was assigned to play on. Sabalenka took to Instagram to highlight the issue. I have to say that I'm very disappointed with the WTA and the experience so far at the WTA Finals. As a player, I feel disrespected by the WTA. I think most of us do. This is not the level of organization we expect for the finals. To be honest, I don't feel safe moving on this court a lot of the time. It wasn't just Sabalenka who was complaining. World #6 Marketa Vondrousova also showed solidarity with Sabalenka in criticizing the conditions of the court.
The court is honestly very bad. It's very crazy, it bounces everywhere, and I feel like it's almost like bad clay or grass courts. It's not even hard court. So and I'm not saying that because I lost. I felt the same way at the practice also. So I don't think this court is very good for the WTA's finals, to be honest.
The matter got so serious that Sabalenka's arch-rival, world #2 Iga Swiatek, almost kept the rivalry aside. But she didn't slam the organizers for the poor conditions and called it a challenge that all players faced.
Obviously, it's not a positive thing for any of us, but I think, the main thing is not focusing on that and just doing your job. Sometimes it bounces weirdly on clay or on grass as well. So I try to think, in that perspective and just do my job. And for sure, it's not comfortable. And the fact that we also didn't have time to practice on this court, But at the end, it doesn't really matter because all of us have the same court and the same conditions.
But here's where the issue lies. The WTA Finals are being held in Mexico, and Cancun was confirmed as the host city only extremely late in September. That's too short a time to prepare clay tennis courts of world standing, and the women players had to suffer. Tennis isn't the only sport where organizers have taken women's sports for granted. Another recent incident from Chile shows that women's sporting events are not being taken seriously. This was at the Pan American Games that are currently being held in the South American nation of Chile. The women's 20-kilometer race had an embarrassing end because of the negligence of the organizers. Peru's Kimberly Garcia won the gold as she finished the race in 1 hour, 12 minutes and 26 seconds. This was declared as a new world record. Until the organizers realized that they had royally messed up. The race, which was supposed to be 20 kilometers, was nearly 3 kilometers short. The matter became so big that the International Olympic Committee had to step in. And what was the result? Kimberly Garcia and the other podium finishers were allowed to keep the medals but were stripped of their finish times. Imagine the heartbreak the women athletes would have gone through. Women already face stigmas in their day-to-day lives, and when they take up sports, they face even more pushback. Things are certainly getting better. Participation of women in sports has increased. Fans too are celebrating this. The recent FIFA Women's World Cup broke all records for attendance. So clearly, people want to see women play. But the organizers and sporting bodies need to take this seriously. They have a sluggish attitude when it comes to catering for women's sports. When the world #1 player has to complain about the venue, to call it unsafe, it tells a lot about the state of affairs. One of the easiest ways to overcome this would be to include more women at the table. Sporting bodies and organizers have largely been led and staffed by men. The inclusion of women will help in improving the standards. We're hopeful that the changes will come sooner than later.